Welcome in to the last tick-tock of November. We get to bring in December on Thursday of this week, and we are going to do it in style. Probably we'll set the stage on Wednesday because there's not a whole lot going on. Hi, Thomas Miller on the Fun Astrology Podcast. Glad you stopped in here. We are going to have a busy December. As Joan Rivers used to say, we need to talk because there's a lot that's going to happen in December. So stay with me. We'll get to it throughout this whole week and set the stage. We had a really fun level up last night. If you wanted to catch the replay, it's both on the YouTube channel on Fun Astrology Podcast and also on the Facebook group, the Subconscious Mind Mastery and Fun Astrology Podcast Listeners group on Facebook. You can join that group if you answer the questions. We'd love to have you. It is in both places. We talked about intuition and then did a meditation around setting intentions. And it was just, I think it's very, very practical, probably one of the more practical, daily practical ones that we've ever done. So you might want to catch that. The big event in the sky this week happens on Saturday when Neptune turns direct. We will get there later in the week. But today we have Mars trining Saturn. And before we embellish that, listen to this. This was as I rolled the page forward and looked at next week, which is the full moon on Wednesday the 7th. It's going to be at 16 degrees Gemini. Now, you moon followers, that should ring a bing-bong bell because 16 degrees Gemini, wasn't that where the last full lunar eclipse was? Last month? This month? Which will be last month? Next week? Yeah, 16 degrees in Gemini. So then I was looking at Mars, which today is at 19 degrees here as it is trining Saturn. And I thought, it's going backwards. That means it's moving towards 16. I wonder when it will get there. Guess when? The full moon next Wednesday will have Mars conjoining it at 16 degrees Gemini. So today's business is talking about Mars trining Saturn, but it's at 19 degrees. That's within 3 degrees, plenty close enough to where this revisiting of the last lunar eclipse is going to happen next week. So we have to take it in context, don't we? So a retrograde Mars in the divided sign of Gemini is arm-locked with the great malefic planet Saturn, which is laying its last tracks in its own sign of Aquarius before it moves into Pisces in March of next year. And then over the last, let's say, just 2 weeks, have you observed something kind of interesting, especially as Neptune is slowing down to turn direct on Saturday, that all of a sudden in China they are massively protesting the COVID policies. Brazil has not let off the gas one bit with its big mass protests about their last election. You have armed citizen militia in protests in Phoenix about the Arizona election, from what I've read, demanding the truth. You have this docketed case in front of the Supreme Court that's talking about some of the 2020 election things that could have a significant impact if it is heard. I think they're having a hearing here in the next couple of weeks whether they will accept that case, but it is on the docket to at least take a look at. And then the biggest news, of course, Elon Musk putting a poll out where a sizable majority of people said, yes, we want to know the truth. And based on that, most of the big corporate advertisers have run like cockroaches and somebody turned on the light. Shows you how totally disconnected mainstream is from Main Street. And I'm glad to see Main Street coming back alive again. That is as good of a picture as I could verbally paint of Neptune slowing down, already a slow mover, slowing down, crawling in the sky towards Saturday, heavily influencing right now, getting ready to go direct, and Saturn now fully direct and moving itself through the radical shake-it-up sign of Aquarius. And it's like, boom, all of a sudden, just in the span of a few weeks, it's like the world has woken up. As above, so below. Now, with Mars in retrograde in Gemini, fortunately it's in retrograde. If it was direct, we'd be a little bit more anxious about what Mars might do as far as some kind of violence, but you can't rule it out whenever it is aspecting something. However, this is a trine, not a square or an opposition. But Mars is in square to Neptune. It's within 3 degrees. Over your holiday weekend, the New York Times puts an article out, "At protests across America, guns are doing the talking." I mean, the chart is so descriptive right now. You look at the chart, you look at the goings on in the world, as above, so below. So I'm going to look at this trine today as a good thing. And hopefully this little wave of momentum keeps going, because that's been the biggest thing that I've been saying is with Neptune in Pisces, and right now where it is in opposition to the United States Neptune. And then Jupiter is in Pisces right now, and when Jupiter moved back in is really when all of this reactivated. So we have Jupiter for 3 more weeks, basically. If it catches a tailwind and then moves itself into Aries with the fire ignited around these truth-based protests, go back to the few good men. I want to know the truth. You can't handle the truth. Isn't that the debate today? Elon Musk says, we're going to show you what Twitter was doing. I mean, the vote was 72 to 28%. I mean, really, since I started to understand this more clearly, especially under the distinctions that Robert Glasscock has so vividly painted, particularly about Neptune's position and influence in mundane astrology, lies and deceptions. It's everywhere. Well, now on 3 continents, you have people really starting to buck against it. How do you and I apply this aspect to our lives individually? What can I do? What can you do this week? Well, surf the energy. What in your own life should be challenged? We talked about that, in fact, during the meditation last night, so you could catch that replay. Just go to the YouTube channel, be the easiest if you're not already in the Facebook group, the Fun Astrology Podcast YouTube channel, and just replay the meeting for the level up from last night. And we talked about this. Challenging things, Saturn in Aquarius, that don't serve your highest, fullest purpose. That's where your energy is with this aspect, and you have a lot of power behind it, because in mundane astrology, we can talk about the 10th side of this, but with you and me, we can say that Mars is going to ride us some power to make powerful changes. Can I hear an amen? Well, this is so interesting, and I think this is kind of the way it's going to be now for a while, is the chart is going to be painting incredible pictures of what's going on beneath the headlines. So it's going to be interesting, folks. We are all here. We chose this time to be on the planet, and we all could have taken an exit over the last 2 years, and we didn't. So we're still here. I'm wishing you a great Monday. It's going to be a good week. We'll see you tomorrow.